So, you're moving to Warrensburg, Missouri, or you're PCSing to Whiteman Air Force Base, and you want to find out more about Warrensburg, Missouri. Well, I've got you covered. Today, boys and girls, we are going to continue in, I think, our fun series of talking about the history of Warrensburg, Missouri. Video number 2. And don't forget to like and subscribe right down below, because I make a new video every single week all about Warrensburg, Missouri, near Whiteman Air Force Base, and you're gonna wanna get notified. Also, my contact number is right down there, and I get texts and emails and calls from people all over the world, and I love it. So keep it up. If you wanna know, is there a place to do martial arts in Warrensburg? I can tell you, yes, there is. It's called Warrior Jiu-Jitsu, and it's awesome. I am a member. But those are the things that you can text me if you want, randomly out of the blue. Number's right down there. Hope to talk to you. Today, we are gonna continue our really fun series of videos all about the history of Warrensburg, Missouri. Now, in my first video, we kind of talked about how Warrensburg was founded. Martin Warren, the blacksmith, created his blacksmith shop right on this little Indian trail where 2 Indian trails came together, and that was kind of the beginning of Warrensburg. Well, now we're gonna move way forward in time, and we're gonna talk about the old drum case. Da, da, da. So if you come to Warrensburg, Missouri, you're gonna basically see these statues of this adorable, beautiful dog all over town, and we're kind of known as the town of man's best friend. And that's due to this famous court case against these 2 men, all centered around a dog named Old Drum. And actually, they made a movie about it. I didn't even know this. Scott Bakula played the lawyer, and now I'm gonna have to watch it. Anyway, we're gonna go back to the courthouse and talk to Mr. Bruce Oler again. And if y'all remember from the last video, he's the president of the Johnson County Historical Society. So, we're gonna go back to the courthouse, talk about Old Drum. So, what is your second favorite story?
Well, the second favorite story, of course, is the trial of Old Drum.
Yes!
Drum, we didn't call him old till later on.
Yeah.
But Drum was the favorite hunting dog of Mr. Burden out southwest in this part of the county, or out in the southwest part of Johnson County, and he lived by his brother-in-law, Hornsby. Well, Hornsby was having a really tough time with his sheep. He had wolves, he had loose dogs over there, and reportedly he had lost 100 sheep to wolves and dogs. And had said something to his nephew like, well, the next dog in here, we have a sheep that comes on the property.
Yeah.
Well, his nephew saw a dog, and they said, oh, we should just scare the dog away. This is what they said during trial.
No.
Well, this nephew sees this dog one evening coming on the property. Reportedly, they said, oh, let's just put salt in the shotgun shells and just scare it away, or corn pellets.
Yeah.
Not certain that's what really happened. Well, Burden hears a gunshot and he hears a dog yelping. And this leads to the trial. The next day, they find Old Drum down by Big Creek, laying in the river, or laying at the edge of the river.
Yeah.
But he's been shot a few times.
Oh.
And he's also been dragged to this area. And he also has what's called sorrel hair on him, meaning like he's been laid on a horse or something, or an animal, and taken down to Big Creek.
Suspicious.
And Mr. Hornsby had a sorrel animal there, and no one else did. So they left the dog there. It goes to trial for the 3rd time, and what's really fascinating about this is when it gets to this stage, that we have what was called the Big 4 attorneys of the state of Missouri.
Oh, snap.
This is in 1870 now.
Yeah.
So the Civil War's come and gone.
Yeah.
The feeling in the area hasn't changed as far as, north and south, but the Civil War's over, the soldiers on both sides went back to farming.
Yeah.
So you have the Big 4 attorneys in here. So the Big 4, one would be Senator Best, which ends up giving this eulogy to the dog.
Yes.
And you have Crittenden, and you have Phillips, and you have another attorney involved that ends up being really famous during the Civil War, who was a general in the Confederate Army, Cockrell, who lived right down on Market Street.
Oh, wow.
In the 200 block of Market Street. And as the trial comes down to it, you can imagine this courtroom was actually pretty full.
I mean, I would be pretty infuriated if someone shot my dog, so I can imagine other people were up and home.
Yeah, I'd say dogs were right after horses.
Oh, yeah.
And back then, if someone stole a horse, you were shot.
Yeah.
Or more or less hung. We had a lot of hangings around here, which we can talk later about all the hangings. The trial comes near the end, and Senator Vest, very famous senator, had a practice here in Warrensburg, but at this time he's now from Sedalia, Missouri. He gives the tribute or the eulogy to the dog. He never mentions Old Drum in the closing arguments, he just mentions the dog.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll have this on your website about.
Yeah, I'll show it on the screen, the eulogy. It's very touching, actually.
It is. And it supposedly moved a lot of people to tears. Well, it certainly got to the jurors because they ended up awarding Burton $50 from Hornsby. Wow. Now, the end of the story would be later on, many, many years. If you go out to the Hornsby Cemetery in the southwest part of the county, you will see that Burton and Hornsby are buried about 15 feet apart because they were related. So they ended up in the afterlife or afterlife.
Right next to each other.
Practically next to each other.
Oh, man.
But the actual shooting took place just in Cass County, literally just over the Cass County line.
Yeah.
But for change of venue purposes, that's why it ended up in Johnson County. And then this became what we know as man's best friend is the dog.
Yeah.
Came from this spot where you're standing right there. Senator Vest probably stood right where you are. And he gave this eulogy, looking at the jurors that probably sat right over there, moved them to tears. It was totally emotional. Again, nothing mentioned about Old Drum, and they won the case.
There you go. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoy making them. Make sure to like and subscribe down below because I make a new one every week and you're gonna wanna get notified. And also, my contact information is down there. So feel free to call, text, email, any time of the day. I love talking to people. Have a good one. See you next time.